Okay, so speaking of the alarm system, the negative emotion of loneliness tells you that you need connection.
Yep.
And gives you the energy to be known, not go get to know somebody else. And I know a lot of people who feel lonely and go have coffee and then talk about the other person the whole time. Wow. And they walk away going, I just spent time with all these people and like it didn't work. And I'm like, well, of course it didn't. You asked about their day. You asked how they were doing.
Y'all got together and watched a movie.
Yeah, but you didn't.
For 3 hours, but we didn't talk.
You didn't let yourself be known. That's what loneliness gives you the energy to do, to be known, which means it's got to be about you. That's not selfish. That's good. That's vulnerability. Okay, you ready for number 3?
Hit me. Because I'm watching a movie right now in my head.
So I'm going to speak to like the married couples who believe that like sex is supposed to be safe for marriage, because I realize there's a lot of people who don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm speaking to the other couples too. As soon as sex is on the table, most couples stop doing everything else. So, and by everything else, I mean sensual, sexual activities that do not end up in playing with your genitals. So like once genitals are on the table, it's like everything has to lead to genitals. And it becomes a problem. And it becomes a problem.
Can we go slow?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, what's your question? You're going to have to slow me down.
No. So based on what you just said,
yeah,
I am on good ground when I tell a couple that wants me to do their premarital, do not have sex until you get married.
Because
the moment you have sex, now I'm not a therapist, so I'm just going to tell you the way I've said it.
Yeah.
And you can correct it if it's wrong. The moment you put that penis and vagina together, you will call a red flag hot pink.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I am of the personal and professional belief. This is really complicated in the professional world, so I could unpack it if you want me to. But I think it's better to wait. Now, there are arguments about that, and there's a lot of factors that influence it. And I don't know if this is the podcast for that. Because it's like, could be a seminar. But yes, I personally believe waiting's better. And I still have to work with the married couples that are like, we waited, genitals are on the table, now all we do is genitals. I still have to like undo that. Yeah,
no, I absolutely agree. I just was talking from the standpoint of prior to marriage.
It's better.
It's better to wait because you don't get to establish points 1 and 2 that you just made.
Yeah.
You don't establish safety.
I do think couples should kiss before they get married.
I am down with that.
There's actually some chemical exchange that happens that your body's actually.
It's in that tongue, ain't it? It's in that tongue. Thank you, French. Thank you, France. It's in that tongue.
It's a spit swap.
Yeah.
And there is a chemical assessment that is happening. So
I'm gonna need that.
There are
need all that
cases.
spit.
There are rare cases where couples did not kiss and then lack for chemistry once they're married. So like I think if we're gonna have a litmus test. Kissing's on the table.
Yeah, for me. Kissing's on the table for me too.
Yeah.
Well,
but I also don't have a problem with arousal because I think that's been taught poorly. But that again, that could be a whole other podcast too.
No, well, see, I think that I have a friend of mine that I love to death who didn't kiss their mate until the actual wedding day because they thought it was a part of the sexual act, and I'm thinking to myself, there was no way I was not going to tongue.
I
Juliet.
agree with that.
Yeah, I do too.
I think so like this is where I went on my walk.
Yeah.
Like, well, I teach my couples to hold hands to rebuild their sex life.
Yep.
I also hold hands with my son.
Yeah.
But I'm a sexual being everywhere I go.
Yeah.
So everything I do is sexual.
Yep.
That is true.
Yeah.
Like I kind of think when, especially in church culture, if someone's like, oh, she's just being so, and I say she because it's women who get picked on. Nobody's picking on a man and be like, he's being so sexy. How dare him? Like, nobody does that. But
and there are some
being honest.
And there are some dudes out here trying to be sexy.
I mean, there's some pretty men out there.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Some pretty men.
There's some pretty men. My husband being one of them. But I like when someone tries to diss a woman by saying she's being sexy. I just think it's funny these days. I'm like, yeah, well, we're all sexy because sexy literally means I'm being sexual and I am a sexual being. So like, joke's on you.
Right, exactly. Like, absolutely. Yeah. We're all sexy.
So I'm like, well, I'm all sexy.
Yeah.
I think couples, I'm going to go back. When genitals is fair play, there's this unspoken rule that everything has to lead to genital play. So here's how it plays out. Remember, guys, it's always more complex than we think it is. I've yet to meet a couple that have the same desire level. Okay? So there's always a higher drive partner and like a lower drive or desire partner, depending on how you want to say it. And the most important thing about that difference is the story that you tell yourself about it in your head. You will never, as far as I understand, I don't think it's a good goal, make yourself the same. The goal is not sameness. I actually try to get couples to embrace their differences. Yeah, I'm the higher drive one. I'm the lower drive one. This is how this works, whatever. And that is really complicated. I mean, Kimberly and I were just talking about this the other day. Like, we got so many questions about female desire because it's been so stomped on. I don't even know if we have a fair assessment of it, but I do think there's different desire levels. And what happens is if all sexual activities have to, it's an unspoken rule, so it's a powerful one, have to lead to genital play and release, then the lower drive partner, when they don't want to do that, what do? They start shutting down all the behaviors.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I don't want to cuddle with you naked. Why?
Right.
Because then we're going to have sex.
Right.
Well, and okay, that starts leading into some other belief systems like, well, if I get aroused, we have to do something with it. No, you don't.
Right.
Nothing falls off. You're not going to grow cancer. You might.
The discoloration will leave.
I mean, right? Like there's all you keep backing up the myths.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's reasons
That's exactly
why
right.
neither party will go there. So you know what couples start to do when they don't both want it magically at the same time, which is pretty rare, by the way. They start shutting down connection activities.
Wow.
So couples practicing what I call non-demand sexual and sensual activities that are not allowed to lead to genital play is really a fascinating experiment that most couples, if there's no trauma that is unhealed, should try. Non-demand means it doesn't lead to sex. And I say genital activity because sex is so, again,
absolutely.
Yeah,
that's absolutely correct. No, I love that. That is like, talk about like a way to serve your person.
Oh yeah.
Right? And to love your person and to connect with your person and to bond with your person.
Both ways.
Yeah, both ways. Absolutely.
Both ways, because you have a lower drive partner who's like, I really want to connect and touch. And actually, since that is women in 80% of the statistics, she actually would really probably build up the oxytocin in her system and be more open to having sex later on if we did a whole lot more than that. Like, I cannot tell you how many higher drive partners, which again, in 20%, which is statistically significant enough to be normal, it's flipped. The female has a higher desire. But I can't tell you how many husbands have said, I have gotten so much more of my wife practicing this other stuff.
Oh, absolutely correct.
But it was scarcity mentality that there wouldn't be enough sex that kept them from practicing it to begin with.
Wow.
It's counterintuitive.
Yeah. No, I'm okay.
So I'm like, shower naked together, take a bath.
Yeah.
Watch a movie naked together, cuddle, all that. And like of course you have to have communication. So like get square, like, hey, this is what this night is for. Like, I'm not up for this, but I'm up for this. And I'm like, okay, sure. So that.
No, okay. So my brain
just makes it better.
No, it does make it better. And thank you. Okay. So I get pictures for everything.
Yeah.
So step one is to make sure we are safe. I see that as like, you know what? I want you to come in this room. I'm closing the door.
Yeah.
I check the alarm. Nothing's going off.
Yeah.
In me, nothing's going off in you.
And the alarm system's on.
And the alarm system's on. I didn't turn it off. Like I didn't.
Which can look like, hey, do you need to share anything with me? I want to know if I've tripped the alarm for you. I want to know your alarm system's on. That type of feedback in couples, knowing that is safe and good.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're both safe.